Unfortunately for the Chargers, star left tackle Rashawn Slater will be out for the season with a knee injury. Need HVAC? This month got 0% for 18 months on a new system. Schedule your free proposal at AndersonPHA.com. Anderson, fast, reliable. Wow.
I'm Ben Fletcher. That's Sammy Long.
Well, don't keep us in suspense any longer. Show us what you got.
No fluff, just facts.
I'm curious to see what Aaron Rodgers is this year, who has been a little bit of a joke. But could it be like this is actually legit with the Pittsburgh Steelers, and Aaron Rodgers is going to have himself a little turning back the clock here?
RELAX. Relax.
Maybe the Jets did humble this guy. Everyone kind of knew Aaron Rodgers was always kind of an ass. People liked it. It was funny. He'd be yelling at his receiver.
He was an ass who was also an MVP.
Great ass!
Like, I think of touring musicians, and I would think if I was in that spot, I'd be eating bad food every day. I wouldn't work out.
No, I would be the opposite. You're going on stage in front of thousands of people came to see you every night.
I think I'd go more the Morgan Wallen route. Just party every stop.
Kids, close your ears. Back in the day, there was a certain powder that kept people skinny.
Drugs are bad. Okay. Antonio Montana.
Now, live from the San Diego Sports 760 studios, we enter the Fletch Zone.
The beers are in the fridge. The meat is getting ready for the grill. It's a freaking Friday, everybody. Let's get ready to party. Sam, you got big weekend plans?
Going out drinking with the boys. Went out to PB last night, so just keep that up. I might go see that movie Weapons.
This looks awesome.
I gotta be honest, I said yes to it, and then I saw the trailer, and I'm a little bit of a something and might wimp out.
Oh, you're a little bit of a scaredy cat. You don't like the scary movies.
No, I like them. I just the possessed children sometimes is a little much.
From what I've heard about it, it is if Longlegs, which was a okay Nicolas Cage horror movie that came out a couple years ago, stuck the landing. That is Weapons. So I'm excited about it. I would also like to.
What about you? What you got going on?
It's a weekend full of partying. I got meat ready to go. No, we're heading up to Long Beach tomorrow morning for my wife's stepdad's birthday party, but we got plenty going on. But plenty going on here in San Diego as the San Diego Padres have a big series coming up. Plenty going on the show today as Tyler Heaps, the general manager of SDFC, is jumping on in about 10 minutes. Steve Hartman will be here for his Friday appointment in the 1 o'clock hour. The text line is wide open today, and we got some very important advice we're going to need coming up in hour number 2. But it is San Diego Sports 760. This is the Fletch Zone. My name is Ben Fletcher. That's Sammy Long. We are with you till 2 o'clock today. John and Jim will take over then. Let's start right there with those San Diego Padres, and we will get to the NFL preseason coming up in just a little bit. But the San Diego Padres, this may be the first time all year we say this, and it's actually 100% true. This is a massive series for the San Diego Padres. The rest of them this season, they've been big. Everything is big when you're in a division race that's this close, but it's just gotten this much closer, and it feels like it's absolutely within reach. The Dodgers just 2 games up on the San Diego Padres right now. You're getting Michael King back this weekend, most likely. It feels like this 3-game set against the Boston Red Sox is going to determine a lot for the rest of the year. Now that you're in the actual postseason push, now that you have the team set that you're going to be heading into the postseason with, hopefully. So the Padres this weekend, understanding where they're at in the National League West, understanding where they're in the National League as a whole, you're starting to think about postseason seeding already. And we're still just a couple months out, but this is becoming a reality that the Padres might not have to play on the opening weekend of Major League Baseball's playoffs. So can you get to that point? Well, this weekend's going to tell you a lot about that. If they can gain some ground on the Dodgers here and go into that series with the Dodgers, which is coming up next week, either a little bit closer or hell, even tied with the Dodgers heading into that series. And maybe we're getting ahead of ourselves, but it feels like this is a make it or break it moment here, Sammy.
I think this is a big series for both teams, LA and the Padres, because you got the Dodgers who are going to be playing the Blue Jays, who absolutely decimated the Rockies. Now it is the Rockies, but you have 63 hits and 45 runs that against a professional ball club. That's impressive. And the Padres been rolling recently, all the new additions, and Boston's a fun team. I'm really excited for this series because this is I'm curious to see what young stars show up. Like Fernando,
plenty of them on both sides.
They have on both sides. Merrill, Tatis, I mean, he's elevated to a big star, and I guess he's technically a veteran now, but he's still young.
See what Jackson Merrill was doing on his day off yesterday?
What was he doing?
He was out in East County, had a baseball camp for 400 kids. Good for Jackson Merrill.
What a gentleman.
On your day off. No,
I gotta
that'd
be
be
honest,
on
if I
my
was a
day
baseball
off.
player, I would not be doing that. But that's why Jackson Merrill's there and I'm sitting here, you know? In the Boston Red Sox, Roman Anthony just signed an 8-year contract extension. They brought him up this season, like a couple months ago. They brought up their 1, 2, and 3 prospects. Jarren Duran has been phenomenal. It's gonna be interesting because he was the guy that we thought the Padres were gonna make a big swing for. We thought if the Padres made a big swing at the deadline, it was going to be because they acquired Jarren Duran, and this both series have real big implications. I think if you can make up a game or somehow tie the Dodgers over the weekend, that would be unbelievable. And I mean, it sets up the showdown next week. And you talk about baseball being a little monotonous and it's a long season. If you go into next week and it's Dodgers Padres, I don't care if you're a Dodgers fan, Padre fan, whatever it is. That is going to be must-watch TV, or you're neither. That's going to be fantastic.
It becomes a lot better if the Dodgers lay an egg this weekend and the Padres take care of business against the Red Sox. It gets a lot better if it is a tight race in the National League West by the time these two teams meet each other coming up next week. All right, shout out Dave already on YouTube. Shout out to our buddy Rich already on YouTube. Says gearing up to do battle with Red Sox fans over the next few days. I bet I'll see a Brady jersey tonight at Petco.
Oh God, yeah, they're probably all down there in the gas lamp right now.
I mean, think about it. If probably a lot of Patriot fans in Gaslamp right now getting drunk on Sam Adams or whatever stupid beer they drink.
By the way, Mark, what's up, dude? Good to see you. Dave hit a pick yesterday.
Dave was the only one. The rest of us really pooped the bed.
Well, I did tell you and Tyler not to do that pick. I'm not even include Tyler.
Should we talk about Joe Burrow and about your other pick? Who else
we don't
do you
even
have?
talk about Joe Burrow. But Dorian Thompson-Robinson did hit his over.
So you got 1 out of 3. Congratulations,
no, we
Sammy.
hit 2 out of 3. Paul Skeens, Bud. I mean, why are we not pulling him?
Paul Skeens was great yesterday.
Why is he throwing 97 pitches when your team is not even competitive in the playoffs?
If you don't know what we're talking about, at 12:45 every single day, Sammy does this thing called Long Shots, where he creates a daily fantasy sports lineup for you to put in, and you guys can watch games that we're watching, so that we're all invested in the same thing. It's a fun team bonding thing for the show. Where it becomes non-team bonding and not fun is when we keep losing, and we keep losing. Today's going to change that.
We have a special one at 12:45.
I got a good feeling. Mark B says he's tuning in from DC. What's up? Go say what up to, I don't know, all the politicians people. Maybe follow some Nancy Pelosi stock tips or something.
We got people tuning in from the Netherlands. We found out last week. We got Mark out there in DC, man.
Tyler Heaps, the GM and sporting director of SDFC, coming up at 12:15. Don't go anywhere right now. Time for the big 3. Sammy, smash that button on a Friday, baby.
Your lunch break is here. Ready to go back to the office and knock the socks off your friends? Coworkers? It's time for the top stories of the day. The Big 3.
If you want to jump on YouTube and get involved with this little community we're building here, we got Dave, Mark, Rich, Wes. What's going on, everybody? San Diego Sports 760 is the name of the YouTube page. Stays live from 12 to 6 every weekday. John and Jim take it over right after we do. We're also on X at Fletch and Sammy. You can find us there. Would love follows, subscriptions, all the things. Sammy, where are we starting?
Shedeur Sanders.
Yeah, baby.
Starting today for the Cleveland Browns. We got into it yesterday. If you weren't listening to the show, basically they're starting him over the rest of the quarterbacks. A couple guys are hurt. Pickett's hurt. Dylan Gabriel, who was drafted.
He's got a hammy too, right? He's dealing with something.
Yeah, we don't know how legit that is, but yes, he's got a hammy. But Shedeur Sanders expected to play a lot today. His prize picks numbers at 120.5. That could pop up later in long shots. What are your expectations for Shedeur tonight? What do you want to see from Shedeur Sanders?
All right, expectations, what I want to see. We can get to those right now. Coming up later in the show, we're going to need to do a whole 10 minutes on how the media is covering Shedeur Sanders at this exact moment. Because I don't know if you've noticed, Sammy, but we got some beef going on between like Fox NFL reporters and ESPN NFL reporters. There's a lot going on, and it's all surrounding Shedeur Sanders, and something smells a little fishy to me. But let's talk about what's going to happen on the field tonight, because ultimately that's what matters. I would love to see Shedeur Sanders go out there and tear it up. I'm telling you, the media has turned me into a Shedeur Sanders fan because I don't understand why ESPN and Fox are covering this the way they're covering it. I would love for Shedeur to go out there and shut everybody up because he has a great opportunity right now. Injuries sometimes lead to great opportunities. I bet you Kenny Pickett would be starting this game if he was fully healthy because the Browns got to see what they have. Joe Flacco, you know what he is. Dylan Gabriel, there's serious question marks, but obviously the Browns thought highly of him. Shedeur Sanders has an opportunity tonight to go out and prove people like Mary Kay Cabot correct and say, I am the best quarterback in this room. And personally, I would love to see it because of all the chaos that's happened over the last few months surrounding Shedeur Sanders. Go out there and just show everybody with your play what you are and stop letting everybody tell you what you are.
It's super fun for a preseason game. It's just fun seeing preseason football back. I watched all of it last night. But then
It was a tough watch last night, if we're being completely honest. That didn't really look like football.
Oh, I didn't even care.
It makes me fall for it every year. I get excited, and then it happens, and I'm like,
Jonte Wester for the Ravens looks kind of nice. But in terms of Shedeur, this storyline is going to be fun. How long does he play? And people are gonna overanalyze this thing. If he
I bet you it's a whole half.
Yeah, okay, whole half. People are gonna overanalyze this like crazy. So if he goes out there and has a Trey Lance type performance like the Chargers for the Hall of Fame game, people are gonna be going, "This guy's a superstar. He's unreal." And then if he sucks, people are gonna go, "See, this is what we're talking about." In terms of Shedeur Sanders on the Browns, I'm pulling for him tonight because we haven't seen a player in recent memory that has been talked about so much between the time that they were drafted and the time that they played. And there has been so much going back and forth. There was kind of this, maybe it's all legit. Maybe the interviews, he really kind of put people off and didn't really seem to be enthused to be talking to people and didn't talk to certain teams. And the whole Dion piece of his dad, was it really his dad teams didn't want to deal with, or is it really him?
Literally, it came down to how he was smelling in some of these. That he was doused in cologne, that the music in his headphones was too loud.
I mean, I'm just curious. And there's been a lot of talk of Shedeur has taken one practice or like one rep or something with the first team starters. There's been a lot of talk of, are they sabotaging him? Are they trying to throw him out there and kind of go, see, this is what everyone's talking about. I'm excited to see how he does tonight. Maybe he plays with his hair on fire. He is the most talented quarterback on that roster with the most upside of anyone going there. I don't know what Joe Flacco does for you. I don't know what Kenny Pickett does for you. We've already seen that. But I will say with the Browns scouting department, it's not a great look where if he's starting over Dylan Gabriel next week, who they took before Shedeur Sanders in the draft, it's a little bit of a tough thing.
We're going to get out right now because Tyler Heaps is coming on at 12:15. We're going to continue on with this Shedeur Sanders conversation coming up at 12:30 because that word that Sammy just said, the S word, sabotage, all of a sudden is all over the media. And you kind of ask yourself why when you start hearing a word like sabotage come out. So we'll talk about that coming up at 12:30. But Tyler Heaps, the general manager of SDFC, is jumping on the show coming up next. They got a match coming up tomorrow in Kansas City that you'll hear right here on San Diego Sports 760. Let's talk to the GM coming up next. San Diego Sports 760 live on the iHeartRadio app. SDFC is back on the pitch tomorrow night. They got Sporting Kansas City at Snapdragon Stadium. I thought they were on the road. You could hear the match live tomorrow night starting at 7 right here on San Diego Sports 760, your home for SDFC. And speaking of which, we are bringing on Tyler Heaps, the general manager and sporting director of SDFC. They are at 14 wins, 4 draws, 7 losses, 46 points in the Western Conference, putting SDFC in first place in their first year of action. SDFC's next matchup with Kansas City. You're going to hear it tomorrow night right here on San Diego Sports 760. You guys are coming off first of all, Tyler, how are you, man? Welcome to the show. My name is Ben Fletcher. That's Sammy Long. I believe this is our first time having you on. How's life?
Hey, Ben and Sammy, thanks for having me. Things are good. It's been a busy summer, a lot of home games, obviously, and now we head out on the road here in just an hour. But really looking forward to seeing how we can finish off the season. It's been an amazing ride these last 12 months, even before we started, and just trying to keep my head above water and keep us in winning ways. Yeah,
I wanted to start talking about the Leagues Cup because obviously that's a little different. You guys go 1-2. What did you take away from that as a general manager? What do you think the team took away from participating in that last week?
I think it was a lot of good learning moments. Obviously, you play different teams from different competitions, and so that always brings its own nuances. And I think that we got a lot of our young guys out there. We obviously brought in quite a few players. We brought in 3 2006s in this transfer window. So all of them got 90 minutes under their belt, and all of them got an opportunity to see how we want to play and see Snapdragon up close. And I think we performed very well. Obviously, the results, you mentioned it, 2 losses. It's not ideal, but I do think the performances were very good. We played a Pachuca and a Tigres team that are both historically some of the best teams in Mexico, and I think we played them very competitively. I think we could have won either game, but as goes in soccer, you don't always get the bounces on the day. And then I think we ended with a really positive result against Mazatlan, which is really important for the culture of the group because that's an easy game to go into and not do anything. But I think we still kept our standards high, and we got a lot of really good performances. And now hopefully we can build on that result and that win and hopefully take it to Kansas City.
Can you just speak to Fletch and I got to go to a couple games and the environment's just through the roof, unreal. Can you just speak to how the city has really embraced the team?
It's amazing. I joined probably 18 months ago, and I think there were 1 or 2 fans, and I don't blame them because we didn't have any players. I kept getting asked, when are we signing more players? And obviously we eventually got to that point. And I think from the opening day, it's been incredible, that St. Louis game. But then you go back to what that Galaxy afternoon game was, and even Nashville on Friday night. I mean, that supporters group is rocking. Frontera have been an unbelievable support for us. Our players really embrace it. And I think the city showed up, everything from the tailgate to the pre-match to the post-game. I think it's been a really, really cool atmosphere. It's been awesome to be a part of and to look at it from my view. And I know our players appreciate it. So long may that continue. We got 9 games left, 3 at home, and then obviously ideally the playoffs. And I think we can turn this place into a fortress and be a really difficult team to beat at home.
It's been awesome. And the success in year 1 is really incredible for an expansion team, for this being the first year, and to have so many local guys on the squad. Now, Tyler Heaps, general manager of SDFC, joining us today. One story that was huge here in San Diego was Milan Oloski and the fact that he was scoring so many goals right off the rip when he joins the club. But he was on loan, and so the loan comes to an end, and we all think he's going back, and then he signs with Philadelphia just a few weeks later. So I'm curious what happened with negotiations between SDFC and Oloski, who's a Escondido native, and are you upset seeing him go to a different team here in the MLS? And where did things kind of break down with you guys?
Yeah, it's a very, very complex situation, obviously, with ourselves involved, as well as our partners in FC Nordsjælland. And so there was a lot of moving pieces from it. I think first and foremost, Milan did something that I think was remarkable. Obviously, the goals that he was scoring at the rate that he was scoring at. And both parties, I can say this openly, wanted to get something done. But unfortunately, sometimes in negotiations, you just can't find a middle ground. And obviously, he had so much success in such a short amount of time. It was really difficult for us to come to terms with that. We knew the player very well. We obviously scouted him from Orange County. I was part of that team that scouted him originally from the USL and brought him to Nordsjælland, and we had him for the last 18 months in our organization. And I think by the end of it, we got to a point where we just weren't near where we each other thought on a valuation standpoint. And so we wanted to do what was best for the player. We had an agreement early on with him and his agent that we wouldn't force anything, and we wouldn't force him to stay with us if that wasn't what he wanted in the next point of his career. And so obviously disappointing from the whole bigger picture of it. But obviously, we're thankful for him and what he was able to do for our organization in a short amount of time. I wish him the best of luck. I'm glad he didn't come to somewhere in the West, and hopefully, obviously, he can continue to have success as we can. But look, it's what we want to do. We want to be a club of the community, and we just got our first academy class checking in Singing Hills, and we're really excited about that. We obviously brought a player in Corey Baird back, who's also from Escondido. That wasn't by design, but he's a player as well that we thought maybe isn't in the best environment right now, and hopefully we can bring him and bring the best of Corey out, and hopefully people can celebrate that as well.
So I was just going to get to Corey, the new signing. What do you think he adds to the team that maybe they didn't have before?
I think he's just a piece that's been in a lot of locker rooms. He's somebody that has tremendous amounts of MLS success. He's had success in this league. His last year in Houston was one of, again, almost 20 goal contributions in that. He's someone that can run the depth. He's someone that is really good in pressing and counter pressing. And so I think he'll raise the level of our front attacking group. That's what we want to get out of this deal. Somebody that's a bit more of a veteran leader in the locker room, someone who's been through a playoff run. Because we have also brought in a lot of young and inexperienced guys, and we need to find the right balance to make sure that those guys are getting the support. Those guys are obviously getting the right culture down, and I think Corey can do that, and I also think he can contribute in the field.
SDFC back on the pitch tomorrow night. They got Sporting Kansas City out in Kansas City. You're going to hear the match live tomorrow night starting at 7 o'clock right here on San Diego Sports 760, your home for SDFC. Tyler, when you kind of look at your first year, because obviously it's the first year of the club, it's also your first year as general manager of the club. What would you say is surprising you about some of the challenges of the job, challenges of working in San Diego? Where have you found yourself tested the most this year?
Got a lot more gray hairs. I've lost a lot of sleep, but it's been a really, really good learning curve for me, and I've had to learn very quickly. And the job 12 months ago is completely different to the job now. Obviously, I was first tasked with hiring a complete staff and signing 26 or 27 players. I think what we're at now. But now with success comes the other challenges, right? So you're talking about contract negotiations, and we were lucky and fortunate to be able to lock Chris McVeigh up for a longer period of time and CJ Dos Santos. So now are those conversations. It's about balancing what success is in year one versus success in the future. So continuing to try to build out what our squad looks like in years to come, continuing to try to manage the cap and be prepared so that we're not locking ourselves into anything long term. And the city's been tremendous. I've really embraced coming to this place. I've never lived on the coast before. I've obviously born and raised in Minnesota. This is a little bit different than Minnesota. But I'm really happy with what we've been able to build. I'm really proud of the staff that we've built out. Mikey has proven himself, but also the staff behind that. So his coaching staff, our medical team, and everybody else. And then I'm really happy with the culture that we've built. That was probably my biggest quote unquote concern coming into it. You're building a culture from scratch, so you need to be really particular about what players you bring in. And I think we have a group that are really embracing how we want to play, but also how we want to represent San Diego FC. And I think we've done a very good job of that, but we need to make sure that we continue to set standards and then try to raise them.
I know every team, when they start out at the beginning of the year, goes, we want to win a title, but I think there's like expectations that come with that. And when you think of an expansion team, usually it takes a couple of years, but you guys are at the top of the Western Conference. It looks like a legit team going into the postseason here. Do you think expectations have really changed since the start of the season?
Yeah, I think we've tried to manage those as best as we can. We said it from the beginning. We were very bold before we had any players. We said we wanted to win, and we knew we were here to win. But we're very conscious of how we win and who we win with matters. So that we talk about the type of people that we brought in, and we talk about the football that we want to play and how we want to represent this city. And so I think that through the success that we've had, I think external expectations are for sure continuing to rise. But I think we've held a pretty level set internally. We want to win everything that we do. We wanted to win Leagues Cup, but we're also not totally concentrated on just the results. We're really trying to focus on the performances, because if we think we do what we can do every single day and we stick to our process, we think the results will be a culprit of that. And so it's really about just sticking to that, sticking to our processes, making sure that, again, we continue to raise standards. And I think anything can happen in these last 9 games. I'm really proud of the fact that we're in this position because, again, a lot of expansion teams probably haven't been. But just trying to take it one game at a time, try to finish as high as we possibly can, and then try to give it a real shot.
Tyler Heaps, sporting director, general manager of SDFC, joining us today. And one more for you, Tyler, before we let you go. Sammy said it, man. The environment that you guys have created out at Snapdragon Stadium for home games has been unreal. We had so much fun going to it. You look across the crowd and you see a group of people who don't sit down for 2 hours, who are chanting their faces off the entire time, shirtless in the front row, partying like crazy. That's a fun experience for everyone to be there. And Sammy and I were at the game when Chucky Lozano scored his first goal. And we kind of look back in the offseason, we knew Chucky Lozano was going to be such a big part of the team. But then a name that we never really heard about in the opening match, Anders Dreyer, is the one who sort of gets the win for you all. And Anders Dreyer has become immediately almost a face of the franchise, fan favorite type player. Did that surprise you at all when you guys brought Anders over, that he would be that good that fast?
Yeah, it's an interesting question. Obviously, he's somebody that we had highly regarded in our whole recruitment process. It has surprised me a little bit how quickly he's adapted, but it doesn't surprise me when you get to know Anders. Anders is the most laid back individual. He's the hardest working guy. And he's also just got a great personality. And so I think he really just embraced everything that we had set up, the conditions for him to be successful. And again, I think he has success because the team and the collective and everybody else that obviously put him in the positions. And it's a fair play to him. He's been lethal. He's been ruthless in front of goal. And that's obviously been the case from goals and assists, which is something that we had high expectations for him. But he's come from really good environments in the past, and he's meshed really well with our team. And even, right, Irving hasn't been fit the whole year, but he's also came up with big goals. You talk about the game against Galaxy or talk about some of the other performances, Dallas, whenever he had 2 goals and 2 assists. So our biggest thing now is just getting every player in those conditions to be set up to succeed. And again, Anders, it's fair credit to him. He's been really good in terms of being able to turn those into high quality chances. So really looking forward to everybody. Those guys are fit and healthy right now. That's the first step, and just trying to get them as best as we can as we head into the postseason.
SDFC General Manager Tyler Heaps, man, it was a pleasure getting to talk to you on air for the first time. I know we met a few months back at one of those opening parties at your guys' headquarters, which are incredible, by the way. But it's great chatting with you on the air. Congratulations to the success so far, and let's see if SDFC can't run this whole thing in the postseason.
Thanks, guys. Looking forward to having you back out there, and looking forward to hopefully seeing you well into October and November.
Yeah, man. Can't wait for it. SDFC, they're back on the pitch tomorrow night, in Kansas City, taking on Sporting KC. You'll hear it live starting at 7 o'clock right here on San Diego Sports 760, your home for SDFC. Quick break. When we come back to the NFL we go. We got more thoughts on Shedeur Sanders, but we got to finish up the big 3 as well. Plus, we'll tell you what we're giving away today. All that coming up next. San Diego Sports 760 live on the iHeartRadio app.
Fletch and I are going to Vegas in 1.5 weeks, 10 days, something like that. Cannot wait. Looking to play circa million. This is where you pick 5 games against the spread each week. So if you think you know more than the sports books, don't worry about playing just one a week. Play against them on opening night. Maybe you want some action. Maybe you want Philadelphia to cover the spread against Dallas -7. Maybe you like Washington -6.5 with Jaden Daniels at the helm at home versus the Giants and Russell Wilson. Maybe you think the Chiefs continue their AFC West dominance over the Chargers, favored by 2.5 in Brazil. My favorite pick, Ravens getting a little revenge on the road in Buffalo after Mark Andrews drops a couple passes in the playoff game last year. Gets you +1.5. All you got to do is pick 5 games against the spread each week. Instead of doing side bets with your boys where they may stiff you on payment, play circa million. But listen, we also get it. If you're busy, you don't have time to pick 5 games against the spread each week. Maybe setting a fantasy lineup is enough for you. It's too much to deal with all that. This is where you play circa survivor. All you got to do is pick 1 game each week. Once you burn a team, you can't pick them against. You pick the 49ers week 1. You cannot pick them later on down the road. It's $1,000 buy-in. You can get 10 friends for $100 each, or you can just go all in yourself with the grand. Fun thing about doing it with the friend group is that one person gets to make the pick at the end of the day. And if they're wrong and they sell everyone, you get to make fun of them for the rest of the year. Sign up in Nevada, play from anywhere, and win your money now with Circa. The sport's sponsored by the Jim Buttrell real estate team. STFC in Kansas City taking on Sporting KC, bringing a record of 24 points on the table. STFC currently leads the Western Conference with 46. STFC is currently -105 on the money line, while KC is +240. And the Padres are back tonight at home against the Boston Red Sox. Walker Buehler be on the mound, the former Dodger, for the Red Sox, while Nick Pivetta will be going for the Pods. Would you like to know what your home would sell for today? Get a simple text message with your home's value by texting your address to 855-600-6000. You get no phone call, just a text. Jim Buttrell has the buyers. Simply text your address to 855-600-6000.
San Diego Sports 760. Ben Fletcher, Sammy along with you till 2 o'clock today. John and Jim will take over then. Just had a little chat with Mr. Jim Russell.
What was he saying in here?
He's just so excited about his show today. You know, Jim, he's just a big ball of energy. He just wants to run around the whole building.
Yeah, Mr. You think positive energy, you think Jim Russell?
That's what I've always thought. Hey, it was a lot of fun having GM of SDFC, Tyler Heaps, on just a little bit ago. That was the second time I've talked to Tyler since they made their way to San Diego. He's a good dude. I really like the people over there at SDFC, man. We had Mikey Vadas on right before the season began. Tyler Heaps is a good guy. They got a young, fun, culture-driven energy around that place, and it shows. And that's kind of what it takes to get to the top, and that's where they're at right now. But like Sammy said, expectations are a tricky thing. They came into the season with expectations of being a fun thing for San Diegans to go out and participate in, expectations of being a new club in town. And now all of a sudden they got expectations to win because they've done so well so far. Tricky thing to navigate. Hopefully they do it well. And hopefully we're seeing some serious fireworks here, like Tyler was saying, in October. Can't wait for it. We still got a long ways to go, obviously, in the Padres season. NFL preseason got going last night. And the storylines today are everywhere. Talking points on ESPN and Fox and all the different outlets covering the NFL are all about one guy and one guy only. His name is Shedeur Sanders. He's taking the field tonight for the Cleveland Browns. Probably going to play half is what reports have been leading up to this. Now, a word that Sammy said earlier, it starts with an S. Do you remember what that word is, Sammy?
Sabotage.
That's been everywhere over the last couple of days. And it really does have me thinking, why sabotage? Because Shedeur Sanders is just starting a preseason game, which is a totally normal thing to do for a rookie heading into the NFL. So the team can, I don't know, see what they have in their rookie. But sabotage has been floating out there a lot. about Shedeur Sanders, that the Cleveland Browns are intentionally trying to make him worse somehow. I don't really get the narrative. I think it's really dumb, to be honest. But sabotage is coming from a lot of ESPN talk shows, coming from a lot of Fox talk shows, coming from a lot of CBS stuff. And sabotage, they're saying that he hasn't gotten reps with a lot of first teamers in practice. He hasn't gotten as many reps with the quote unquote A players on Cleveland's team. And so they're putting him out there to expose him tonight, to let the public see that Shedeur sucks and they haven't given him an opportunity to get better in practice. Can we take a quick time out here? And how about we say this instead? Shedeur Sanders has an opportunity tonight to go out and show that he's the best quarterback in the Browns training camp, which is exactly what every quarterback in the Browns training camp is trying to do right now, because it's the biggest quarterback competition in all of football as we head into the season. It's not a bad roster. Cleveland really isn't. It's a bad quarterback room. We don't exactly know what it is, but this is a team that has Myles Garrett on the defensive side. That automatically puts your defense in a position to be near the mid to top of the league. It's an offense that has some pieces around it. So why not the Cleveland Browns, if they have a quarterback in proper condition, not to say they're a playoff team, but to at least be competitive in their conference? Shedeur Sanders has an opportunity to go out there tonight and shut everybody up, and I hope that's exactly what he does.
Well, the problem for Cleveland is that their receiving core is abysmal. It's literally like the worst receiving core in the league. And in terms of the Shedeur Sanders media narrative, it's a touchy subject, because it's like part of you feels like Shedeur brings some of this on himself, and then part of you, I feel like what you were saying, Fletch, like I kind of feel bad for him because we don't know what's real. We hear about he blew off the draft interviews. He showed up and intentionally teams he didn't want to go to didn't go to him and really put people off, which is why he fell. Some people think it has a lot to do with his dad. People don't want to, especially teams that are drafting a quarterback, usually have head coaches that are on the hot seat or young head coaches. And the last thing an organization wants is to hear Deion after the Colorado games on Saturday, because a reporter from the Denver Post going to ask him and go, hey, what do you think if Shedeur's not starting on the game on Sunday? Or if he is starting, what do you think about how the coach is doing? Deion's going to talk. He might hold it for a week, 2 weeks. At some point, Deion is going to give his honest thoughts. He is not someone we've seen over all the years. He says what he says, and that's why he is Deion Sanders. And
my hope is that he would say, I'll let my son handle that when he talks to the press.
I hope that's what he would say, but would it shock you at all if he doesn't?
No, it wouldn't shock me if Deion's the one who's put this sabotage word out there.
So in terms of the sabotage, this is a golden opportunity for Shedeur. I'm excited to see him play tonight. I think people forget all the talent he did have at Colorado. It's been such a wild ride, though, because people gassed Colorado up when they beat TCU in that opening game, when TCU went to the title the year before. But then TCU had lost Duggan. They had lost Quentin Johnson. They lost all the talent on their team. And so it was like a win. Then they got slaughtered by Oregon 4 weeks later. It was like the biggest story in college football. So people are sick of it. But I'm just curious, like, how much of this is real? Like, if Shedeur goes out there and balls tonight, what's going to happen? Is he going to be the starter? Because at some point, it's like if you're the Browns, like, might as well see what you got. Like, might as well let it go, because my thinking is just that Joe Flacco or a veteran or a Snoop Huntley is not going to be a franchise quarterback. So what does that really do for you for starting them? And Shedeur will sell tickets. I promise you that thing will sell out if Shedeur is starting.
You might as well see what you got in Shedeur Sanders. And I actually think that's what the Browns are doing tonight. They're trying to see what they got. They got injuries in the quarterback room. Huntley just got there. He's probably still in the middle of install. Joe Flacco, everyone knows exactly what Joe Flacco is. So at this point, what are your options? It's like Shedeur Sanders is your option to go out there and start. It's just weird that the narrative is going around that Cleveland's trying to embarrass him or something. No, every quarterback that was picked in the 5th round, I don't even know how many there were this year outside of Shedeur Sanders, if there were any, but they're going to get reps in the preseason because you have to see what you have.
Well, and then the whole storyline came because Louis Riddick kind of said that for ESPN that he thinks there's kind of sabotage, like the media really has it out for him. And then Brady Quinn kind of fired back with essentially, you can recap it a little bit better, Fletch, but essentially that, like, no, he's brought a lot of this on himself.
Well, Brady is saying, so Louis Riddick, exactly what you just said. He's laying out this narrative that the Browns are trying to almost embarrass Shedeur Sanders by putting him out there tonight when he hasn't had the proper training camp set up with the first team with Cleveland to even have an opportunity to do this tonight. Brady Quinn is coming from an aspect of A, Brady played for the Cleveland Browns, so careful with whatever he says there. B, Brady was a quarterback that got drafted to the NFL. It didn't really work out for Brady in the NFL, but he was coming at it from the point of view, every quarterback is going to go through this. No one's being sabotaged. This is simply what Cleveland has to do to get him out there. And he was taking shots at ESPN. I'm kind of taking shots at both. I'm saying, why don't we just wait and see what Shedeur does out on the field? Maybe talk about his physical aspects. Maybe talk about the fact that he does have the best numbers so far in Brown's training camp. Like, we could talk about other things without getting into this whole idea that just because his name's Shedeur Sanders, teams are unfairly taking shots at him or Cleveland's putting him in a precarious situation. That's all just dumb to me. And it's just noise that's going on in the background. Why don't we watch the game tonight, see what Shedeur Sanders does, and understand that this dude, a lot of people thought was talented enough to be a top 10 quarterback this year.
Yeah, there was thought that he would go in the top 10, and I wonder how. We won't know this tonight.
If he was drafted in the top 10, do you think we'd be having this conversation right now?
No, we wouldn't.
No, it would just be excitement about Shedeur getting out there and playing.
The whole Arch Manning thing yesterday with Arch Manning's supposed to be the number 1 overall pick in the draft next year. Supposed to be star quarterback at Texas. He's only played in a few games. Supposed to come out and be the number 1 overall pick. His grandpa Archie Manning kind of pumped the brakes on that. Said he's going to stay another year. I wonder how that changes teams who took quarterbacks in the tanking thing, because there's been a real narrative of tank for Arch. Arch Manning is a franchise level changing quarterback. Your Trevor Lawrence's, your Joe Burrows, your Andrew Lucks, the guys that were can't miss prospects coming out of college. I wonder how this changes the value of this. Do you now give more look to the guys? Like, now maybe the Browns started veteran because there's not as much rush to tank as much, because you may have Shedeur for a couple of years. I'm curious. I don't know what the answer is yet, but how the Arch Manning thing impacts teams playing quarterbacks later in the draft.
All right, we got our buddy Dave on YouTube saying we got to eat this weekend on long shots. We got the 949 texting in saying, are you sure you don't want to use Tyler's picks for long shots?
I love me some Tyler, but Ben lost it yesterday with Ashton Genty. Okay. I told you to go under on that.
Yeah, fine. But Joe Burrow also didn't hit. Paul Skeens also didn't hit.
I have to make 3 picks.
I understand.
You guys make 1.
I understand.
Then hear about you missed what you went 0 for 1 last night.
You're right.
That is worse than me going 2 for 3.
1 for 3.
No, I got 2 for 3 because
Joe Burrow didn't hit. Paul Skeens didn't hit.
No, and then I had Dorian Thompson-Robinson.
That's
and I had
1. And Alyssa Thompson was Dave's.
Well, Dave and I are connected.
Yeah, I'm sure you are. Long shots is coming up next. Time for some redemption on a Friday. Let's go into this weekend making some money. I would love to see it at San Diego Sports 760 live on the iHeartRadio app. Hey, it's Fletch for Gary Cooper at Mountain Trust Mortgage and Realty. Give him a call today, 858-376-1299, or visit him online at mountaintrustmortgage.com. And in fact, our buddy Marcos in PB texts the show all the time, reached out to Gary just recently.
He sure did, and he had a question regarding investment properties and asked me, why don't you ever talk about investment property or financing for them? And I said, well, just for you, I will. So, Marcos, this is for you. Yes, I do investment properties. In fact, there's a variety of different loan programs for that. You have your traditional Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, where you can put 20-25% down. The 25% down will give you better pricing. But I also have what's called a DSCR program, Debt Servicing Credit Program. No ratios, first-time investors are okay. Gift funds are allowed, foreign national, no income, no employment, no tax returns. Minimum credit scores are 640, and you can go up to 80% loan to value. The trick to this one is debt servicing. So if you put enough money down that the rents received covers all of the debt servicing, the mortgage, the homeowner's insurance, HOAs, property taxes, and if it's equal or less, you can qualify under that program. Pricing's a little bit higher because, again, it's a debt servicing credit program. So, yes, the pricing will be a little bit higher, but no income documentation.
If you ever have any questions about mortgages, about home buying, about home selling, Gary Cooper is the man to talk to. Do what Marcos did. Call Gary Cooper today, 858-376-1299, or visit him online at mountaintrustmortgage.com. Make sure you let him know that Fletch sent you. The iHeartRadio Music Festival is back. Live performances from Ed Sheeran, Mariah Carey, Maroon 5, Sammy Hagar, The Offspring, Tim McGraw, and more. Sammy, huge Mariah Carey fan. September 19th and 20th at the T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas. 2 nights, 1 stage. Tickets now at AXS.com. That's where you can buy them. And you should get them now before they sell out. And while the world is listening on iHeartRadio, you could be there. 3 chances every single weekday for you to win your trip for 2 plus $1,000 spending cash. Next chance to text and win happens at 1 o'clock. Right here on San Diego Sports 760. Get all the info at sportssd.com/festival. Sammy, we're going out to Vegas in like 2 weeks.
We're very excited.
You ready for that?
I can't wait. It's going to be a stud.
I wonder if your Vegas strategy is similar to my Vegas strategy. Every few days, I'll just put a bunch of money in an envelope and forget about it. And that's the envelope I take to Vegas as like my spending cash.
Oh, I like that. I usually just like, I don't know how much, but like definitely going to, we're there 2 nights. Definitely going to need at least 300 to gamble with each night. And that's it. But that's if we lose money.
We're not losing money.
We're not losing money because that's not counting the fact that I'm signing up a Circa Million in Circa Survivor.
Right.
That's separate money. I don't count like, I might have a buddy coming out with us, by the way. I don't count like bar money or food money as part of the Vegas trip.
I'm not even going to eat.
Well, that's ridiculous. I mean, why? Please.
By the way, to put this, I think I've created an instant money hack.
Really?
I think so.
Do you want to share it with everyone?
I think so. But I'm going to be real careful about how I do. So there's a storyline going on in a professional sports league right now where things are being thrown onto a court.
No.
And now
we're going there.
No, here's how we're going to do this because everyone knows what we're talking about. So we're going to substitute coffee mugs for the item that's being thrown on courts. Are you cool with that?
I am praying that our program director down the hall here is not listening to this right now.
Yeah, probably. Whatever. It's a sports story. It's like a big sports story that's going on right now. And first of all, I don't think it's cool. All right. I'm against it. I don't think it's funny. It's not laughable. People have been arrested and they should be arrested. That's what I think. However, there are now betting lines for what color the next coffee mug will be. And last night it was a purple coffee mug and that hit for plus 500 for some people. So my idea, Sammy, and again, I'm not saying I'm going to do this or you're going to do this, but someone should do this, is you buy, say, a neon pink coffee mug. And then you bet on the next coffee mug to be thrown on a court is going to be neon pink. And then you just throw that coffee mug onto the court.
Texters 70470, start your mess with a team.
Coffee mugs would be messy, though. They shatter. God, that'd be a problem.
My thing is, how do they get the coffee mugs through the metal detectors?
I don't think there's any metal in coffee mugs, Sammy.
Well, no, but it feels like if you got a decently sized coffee mug, it would be tough to conceal with wherever you are.
Are you saying you're a coffee mug expert?
I think everyone's seen a coffee mug.
We all know what a coffee mug is. All right. But I'm saying, does that not logically, wouldn't that work as a money-making scheme?
No, because remember the guy that did the Super Bowl during the Chiefs-Bucks?
Oh, he bet if there was going to be a streaker and then he streaked?
Yeah, and then he won the money and he's such an idiot. He posted about it. And then they're like, you can't influence the bet.
Just don't post about it. And it's
by the way, you can't
crime.
make these bets at sports books. They're not like, hey, I'm gonna put $50,000 on there to be a streaker at the Super Bowl. That you can't do that.
But can you bet $20,000 that there's going to be a neon pink coffee mug? You might be able to. Just saying.
We are going to get fired.
Let's hit long shot. No, we're talking about coffee mugs, Sammy. There's nothing fireable about coffee mugs. I have a coffee mug right next to me right now.
I'm just waiting for text to come in right now.
Sammy, smash the button for long shots.
Let's see. Underdogs? Nah, that's old. Those with a less than good chance of winning? Too wordy. Wait, he's all big time now, huh? It's time for Sammy's Long Shots. Hold on. Can't talk until I say the important stuff. Long Shots is presented by Circa Million and Circa Survivor. Now, go.
How many coffee mugs are about to be on Long Shots, baby? Let's get it.
Oh, my God. Dave says LMFAO.
Tyler said, what color coffee mug should land on the court next?
Tyler.
It's the right question to ask.
Tyler's asking the important question.
Last night it was a purple coffee mug.
Lord have mercy. Guess what? We have a prize week lineup though.
Oh, here we go.
Guess what is presented by Circa Million, Circa Survivor.
You want to tell everyone what that is?
Circa Million, you pick 5 games against the spread each week for the NFL season. You think you know more than the sports books. This is the best way to play. $1,000 entry, and then you can do it all season long. And maybe if you're like, you know what, that's too much for me. I don't want to pick 5 each week. Then you play Circa Survivor. You pick 1 game each week. You can't burn. You pick them 1 week at a time. Once you pick a team, can't pick them again. Fletch and I will be playing, and it will be a through line for the NFL season. So if you want to join in with us, please let us know. All right, we're starting with we have a 4-pick parlay right now with Prize Picks. Merrill Kelly starting off with baseball. Texas against Philadelphia. Merrill Kelly, newly acquired pitcher from the Diamondbacks, going to the Rangers. We're going to go more than 5.5 pitch to strikeouts here. I like Merrill Kelly. He doesn't always have the hardest fastball. The thing with him that's a little tricky is he doesn't throw super hard, but he has really good location on things. And when he's on, he can be very tough for opposing offenses to figure out. I know they're playing Philly. I know he struggled a little bit this year, but making his second start with his new team, I think he's going to want to show out, and they're going to let him go. He went 5.2 innings the last time out, his first time out with the Rangers. Now that he knows more of the calls, familiar with the catchers, we're going to go more than 5.5 strikeouts. Clayton Kershaw, more than 3.5 pitches strikeouts, or 3 pitches strikeouts. I know people don't like the Dodgers, but I do think there's some reasoning to this. Clayton Kershaw, the Dodgers, I mean, the Padres right on their tail. This is a big weekend for both teams. The Dodgers have thoroughly used their bullpen, and there's a lot of the arms are not healthy in the bullpen. I think if you're the Dodgers up there, you do not want to start with Clayton Kershaw getting pulled early in this game. Friday, you're pitching your entire bullpen, then you're putting a lot of pressure on Saturday and Sunday for them to come through for you. So I think Kershaw goes a little bit of ways.
It's Kershaw versus Scherzer tonight.
Yes.
Those two first faced off in like 2007.
Yeah, so I think Scherzer and Kershaw are going to have a little bit of a throwback game tonight. These guys know each other, and it's going to probably pitch very well. More than 3 pitch strikeouts for Clayton Kershaw.
Where'd the music go?
Where did the music go? Unbelievable. So you got me talking about coffee mugs and distracted. Now the music goes.
I like the music.
Music's back.
There it is.
Okay.
We got to rip through these next two.
Yeah, we're quick. All right, UFC fight. A couple UFC fights this weekend. All right, Anthony Hernandez taking on Roman Dolidze. Then the main event, we're going to go 18 fight time minutes more than. This is a fun matchup. Hernandez is a minus 300 favorite. Dolidze, though, is a live dog in this fight. If you want the price, he's at plus 250. He has shown an ability to gas out later in fights. I think this is going to hit, though, because Hernandez is going to be able to stay away from that right-handed Dolidze, and I think he's actually going to get a finish, but I think it's going to be late in round 4 or 5. I think in the books are kind of agreeing with me. They think this fight goes more than 4 rounds. We're going to go more than 18 fight time minutes. I think this is a good price. And then Uros Medic, the doctor, early on the card, is fighting Gilbert Urbina. We're going to go more than on fight time. Uros Medic, he's a massive underdog. He's at plus 350 right now, but another live dog. This guy, when he's on, he hasn't fought the elite level of competition yet that you'd like to see from a UFC fighter. I got a weird feeling this could be a coming out party for him. He's got a lot of power, but I do think this goes 1.5 rounds. I think the books are a little overreacting to the fact that these guys have big KO power. We're going to go more than 6 minutes fight time. So quick recap. Merrill Kelly, more than 5.5 pitches strikeouts. Clayton Kershaw, more than 3 pitches strikeouts. Uros Medic, the doctor, more than 6 fight time minutes for the UFC. And Anthony Hernandez, main event, more than 18 fight time minutes in the main event in the UFC on Saturday night.
We got hour 2 coming up next. Big hour because Steve Hartman's coming on like he does every Friday. We never exactly know where those conversations are going.
He might know about coffee mugs.
Probably, Steve knows a lot about coffee mugs, man. That drinks a lot of coffee. Let me tell you that. But coming up next, USA Today has released their official predictions for final records of every NFL team for this year. There's a new winner in the AFC West, according to USA Today.
Oh, Lord.
It is not the Kansas City Chiefs. We'll tell you who it is coming up in hour number 2. It's San Diego Sports 760 live on the iHeartRadio app.
The sport is sponsored by Anderson Plumbing, Heating, and Air. Padres hosting the Red Sox for a 3-game set over the weekend. Currently 2 games back of the Dodgers in the NL West. Walker Buehler, former Dodger, will be going for the Red Sox, who brings a record of 6-6 with a 5.74 ERA. And Nick Pivetta will be on the mound for the Padres, who is currently 11-3 with a 2.73 ERA. Padres are currently minus 175 on the money line. Need HVAC this month. Get 0% for 18 months on a new system. Schedule your free proposal at AndersonPHA.com. Anderson, fast, reliable. Wow.
Welcome to the Fletch Zone.
I'm Ben Fletcher. That's Sammy Long.
Well, don't keep us in suspense any longer. Show us what you got.
No fluff, just facts.
I'm curious to see what Aaron Rodgers is this year, who has been a little bit of a joke. But could it be like this is actually legit with the Pittsburgh Steelers, and Aaron Rodgers is going to have himself a little turning back the clock year?
RELAX. Relax.
Maybe the Jets did humble this guy. Everyone kind of knew Aaron Rodgers was always kind of an ass. People liked it. It was funny. He'd be yelling at his receiver.
He was an ass who was also an MVP.
Great ass.
Like, I think of touring musicians, and I would think if I was in that spot, I'd be eating bad food every day. I wouldn't work out.
No, I would be the opposite. You're going on stage in front of thousands of people who came to see you every night.
I think I'd go more the Morgan Wallen route. Just party every stop.
Kids, close your ears. Back in the day, there was a certain powder that kept people skinny.
Antonio Montana.
Now, live from the San Diego Sports 760 studios, we enter the Fletch Zone.
It's hour number 2 here on the Fletch Zone, San Diego Sports 760. Ben Fletcher, Sammy Long with you till 2 o'clock. John and Jim will take over then. We do have a pair of tickets to give away this hour. Australian Pink Floyd, August 17th at the Cal Coast Credit Union Open Air Amphitheater. Tickets and info at Ticketmaster.com, or just keep listening for your chance to win. We are going to rip through something real quick because we have Padres talk coming up in about 10 minutes. Stick with the NFL right now, then we got the big 3. In the NFL, USA Today, pretty popular publication. Not familiar with a ton of their work. I am familiar with this. Every year, they release what they think the final records of every NFL team will be heading into the season. Their official projection, which they use numbers for and rosters and all of that stuff, they have spit out their official projection as of today. AFC East, Bills win it with a 13-4 record. NFC East, Eagles win it 12-5. NFC South, Bucks win it at 9-8. AFC South, Texans win it at 10-7. Ravens win the AFC North at 14-3. Packers win the NFC North at 12-5. 49ers, wow. Oh my gosh. 49ers win the NFC West at 11-6. I'm missing a conference. Do you know which one I'm missing, Sammy?
No, it's fine. You read the AFC West.
I'm missing the AFC West. That's exactly right. The Denver Broncos win the AFC West at 12-5. The Kansas City Chiefs come in second at 11-6. Chargers in third at 9-8. Raiders in fourth at 5-12. Can you believe this? The Broncos are going to win the AFC West.
No, I believe it. I mean, this is what you call bulletin board material.
Patrick Mahomes is not a 99 in Madden.
I love it. I love that everyone thinks they're cooked, they're done.
Travis Kelce is covered in honey and being attacked by a bear. I don't know if you saw that. That was crazy.
I mean, you believe what you want to believe. You think the Broncos are going to come in here with Bo Nix, no second-year regression? You sign 2 injury-prone players and Dre Greenlaw and Tala Hufanga, who's a really good players.
His name again?
I can't say this, but Talanoa Hufanga. Listen, the Broncos are going to be good. They're going to be good, but we hear this every year. We hear about the Chargers. Chargers just lost, unfortunately, Rashawn Slater for the season, and I love it. Let the Chiefs be underdogs. Just let it happen, because I think everyone forgets how they got there. They beat everyone's darling Buffalo to get to the Super Bowl. Who Deion Dawkins run his mouth talking about how they would have given him a better game. I just can't wait for football season to get here. Because this nonsense that people peddle all day, we love it. We love this kind of energy. And you can love it because your Niners are sitting there at the top. And
I didn't make this projection. This is USA Today. This is a journalistic publication.
Hey, you know what you should do, Fletch? You know what? You should go along with that. And let's bet that you bet that the Chiefs don't win the division. And I'll bet they will.
Oh, because we're going to Vegas.
Yeah, and no, well, I'll give you the 3 teams in the field, and I'll bet you that the Chiefs win the division, and we'll put a lot of money on this.
I don't think I like that bet. Again, that's what
I thought.
This is not my projection. This is USA Today. I'm simply reading this. We need to get to a big 3.
That's USA Today.
To be fair, I would love to see the Denver Broncos win the division. I think that'd be good for the game. I think it would. Bo Nix, shortest named quarterback in the league. 5 letters. B-O-N-I-X.
Well,
it's got to count for something.
Till it happens, we'll see.
All right, let's get to the big three. We'll talk some Padres coming up in about 7 minutes when we get back from commercial break. But right now, it's time for the big three of hour number 2. Sammy Long, smash that button.
Your lunch break is here. Ready to go back to the office and knock the socks off your friends? I mean, coworkers? It's time for the top stories of the day. The big three.
I do need some help from the text line, 70470. Start your message with team. I'm thinking about buying a recliner for football season, and I've never bought a recliner before, and I don't want to spend a bunch of money. So I was wondering if anyone's had success on like a Facebook Marketplace or a Craigslist or something like that. And is that gross to sit in someone else's chair? These are all things that I'm kind of battling with.
Facebook
right
Marketplace, you'll get murdered on there.
What?
I've had to do that.
Well, really? You've murdered someone from Facebook Marketplace?
No, I've had to deal with. First off, correlating picking up and drop off times is an absolute nightmare on Facebook Marketplace.
Well, I'm thinking about doing it. And also my wife doesn't want me to get a recliner, but I think I'm just going to do it anyways. Is that a suicide mission? Is that bad idea?
You're the one that's married to her. You gotta let us know.
Text line 70470. Start your message with team. Sammy, where are we starting?
NFL. What team is most at risk to underperform in 2025?
Ooh, that's a fun one. Well, as of this exact moment, I would say the Los Angeles Rams because we have no idea what's going on with Matthew Stafford's back. If his back is ready to go by week 1 and Matthew Stafford plays this whole season healthy, the Rams should be a postseason team, probably a double-digit win team. I think the Rams are actually a very good roster. If you take Matthew Stafford out of that equation, the Rams will underperform in a big way. They'll probably come in dead last in the division. So the Rams are at the most risk to underperform because we simply do not know his health.
I don't dislike this team, so I don't take a lot of pleasure in saying this, but I really feel like the Lions are coming back to earth. I think that the loss of both coordinators, Ben Johnson, Aaron Glenn, is a much bigger deal than people are giving them credit for. I don't think they're going to suck and they'll be a playoff team. But I think what we've seen the last 2 years, because the first year they win the playoff games and then they lose to the Niners, kind of an epic collapse. But at the end of the day, they had won 2 playoff games for a franchise that had not won in years. So it was something to be said for that. And then last year, to have Jaden Daniels and the Commanders roll up in there when you are a massive favorite. I know the entire defense was hurt, but to lose that, it really feels like a make or break year for the Lions because at some point you have to pay all these guys. You got to pay Amon-Ra St. Brown. You got to pay Jamison Williams. Is Jared Goff going to be your quarterback of the future? Jahmyr Gibbs. Like the clock's running out a little bit on this kind of young group that was drafted. I'm curious to see how they do, and I think their division is also very tough. So we'll see where they land.
Crazy division, but also a really, really good roster in Detroit, who I only think, look, offensively, Jamison Williams is only going to get better and be a bigger part of this team this year. I think Detroit's probably going to be fine. Jahmyr Gibbs, another year under his belt. It's a great running back tandem. I think Jared Goff is very, very good. Dan Campbell is still the head coach. Culture is still strong, but I agree that Ben Johnson being gone and Aaron Glenn being gone, that's a huge blow.
Michael King back tomorrow on the mound for the Padres. So let's just play a hypothetical. Let's say the Padres are in the playoffs and everyone's healthy. Who is getting the game 1 ball for you, Fletch? Is it Nick Pivetta, who's probably been the best pitcher all season long? Or do we go with Michael King, who's been there before? Do you go with Dylan Cease, who's the name brand pitcher that everyone knows? Possibly you, Darvish. What are you thinking?
So you're saying my least favorite words in the English dictionary if the postseason started today?
Yeah.
It has to be Nick Pivetta. There's no other way to do it. He's been the most consistent, the most solid, the most dominant for the Padres this year. Hell, if you throw Dylan Cease out there, it might be a 5-run blow up in the first inning. If you throw you, Darvish, out there, we have no idea who we're going to get. Are we going to get the guy who started 4 games this year or the guy who started 1 game this year? Because 1 game, he looked great. Other 4, not so much. Michael King, we have no idea what he is. He's coming back from injury. He might go 2 innings. It's just everyone is so sketchy outside of Nick Pivetta, who, when you feel, as a Padres fan, him going on the mound, you feel like he's going to give your team the best shot to win. Nick Pivetta has to be the game 1 starter in the postseason as of right now.
I got to agree with you. I'd probably go Nick Pivetta too, because I've heard a narrative a lot of time is like, and there's some of this is true. So to give some credit, like a lot of, other shows, and I've heard in San Diego talking about how if Nick Pivetta is your number 1 starter, that could be doomed for the Padres in terms of like, if that's your ace, if that's your guy, like you don't have the Detroit Tigers of Scooble, who you're getting a win. You have a guy where it's like, it's going to take a lot for the other team to win the game. But I kind of disagree in the sense of Nick Pivetta has been the most consistent guy all season long. And there's something to be said for we're deep into the season now. We're past the trade deadline. And if Nick Pivetta hadn't been signed, I don't know where this team is right now. I don't know if this team really is in a position to make all the moves that they made at the deadline to really go after a World Series. I think Nick Pivetta needs to be in serious consideration. I know Yu Darvish has pitched really well against the Dodgers in the playoffs, but until he gets on a consistent basis, I don't know that you can trust that. Dylan Cease has been getting it together, so we'll see. There's something to be said for a guy that's been there before, but Nick Pivetta did pitch in Boston, which is not an easy city to play in performance. So I go Nick Pivetta as well.
We got time for one more.
All right, number 3, Stephen A. Smith today, head to the NBA real quick, made a big proposition. Said he believes LeBron needs to leave the Lakers in the offseason and go to the Cavs and win a title.
Is that what we're doing right now? Stephen A, is that what we're bringing up on August 8th? We got NFL preseason games. We got all this going on. You
can find a story. There's nothing going on.
No, I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about Stephen A. No, I love that you bring this up. What are we doing, Stephen A. Smith? You have so much going on in the world right now that you have to force feed a sloppy LeBron take down everyone's throats. What is Stephen A. saying the benefit to LeBron would be for doing
that?
This?
He should chase a ring in Cleveland, and he should leave the Lakers next year. Because there's a lot of talk, the Lakers aren't extending his contract past this season. Well, they haven't offered a contract extension. There's a lot of thought: is he retiring? Will he re-sign with the Lakers, come back, or would he go somewhere else? Would he really leave again? He's left. He left Cleveland, went to Miami, left Miami back to Cleveland, then Cleveland to LA. Is he really going to go somewhere else at age 42 to chase a title?
So if you're LeBron James right now and you're trying to create the narrative that'll be talked about for generations to come of basketball fans, do you want your final legacy big shifting movement to be leaving another organization who's on the verge of doing something special? Because I actually do think the Lakers could do something special this year. Do you want that to be the narrative of your entire career or just the first part of your career? Because that's what this is coming down to. If he leaves again, he's given up a chance to go with Luka and the Lakers to go win a title. Maybe he has that opportunity in the East, but guess what? The East is a lot weaker than the West is. So is that LeBron? Would that be people calling him for the next 10 years as, he's going to the softer division for an easier route to getting there? Seems a little lazy by Stephen A. for me, if I'm being completely honest. On August 8th, I don't think we need to talk about stuff like this, but Stephen A. very tied in with the NBA world. Maybe he's hearing something.
Well, it's interesting because
I would clown LeBron if he makes that move. They have
massive beef, him and LeBron.
I would clown LeBron if he made this move.
I'm just interested to see if the Lakers extend, like if they want him back, in a sense, if they kind of made it clear with the new ownership, even though they're taking over in a few years, they're kind of like, listen, we're building around Luka getting younger. Cleveland certainly has a path to the Eastern Conference Finals. They're one of the favorites in the NBA, not because I think that there's some excellent team, even though they had one of the best records in the league last year, but because, Tyrese Halliburton's hurt. The Pacers are out of it. The Celtics blew up the team. They're out of it. I think the only team you really got to go through is the Knicks and maybe the Magic. So, the year after Boston would be healthier again, but it would be interesting. It'd be bold from LeBron. I don't think that with the LA, the amount of endorsements he gets from being in Los Angeles, doing movies, doing all that stuff that he's in a lot of back end stuff. It's interesting when LeBron's not the focal point of the team anymore, like Luka is. We hear a lot of this and kind of a lot of rumblings out of LeBron camp with him posting in front of the Clipper logo. It's interesting. I wonder if he would forego retirement to try to go win a ring.
I feel like LeBron's next year is probably his last year. I don't know. San Diego Sports 760. Take a quick break. When we come back, let's preview this Padres Red Sox series. Big series for Xander Bogaerts, by the way, facing off with the Boston Red Sox, his former team. We'll talk about that next, live on the iHeartRadio app. Plus, we got some tickets to give away coming up next, so don't go anywhere. It is San Diego Sports 760. We all remember that one teacher who made a difference, who believed in us, who challenged us, or who just made learning fun. Now is your chance to say thank you in a big way with iHeartRadio's Thank a Teacher, powered by Donors Choose. Nominate an outstanding public school teacher at iHeartRadio.com/teachers. They get a chance to get $5,000 to stock their classroom with whatever they need. Today's teacher of the day, Jacqueline Serrano, who teaches at Lexington Elementary School in El Cajon. People told us she's been honored with a biliteracy leadership recognition from the San Diego County Office of Education and has helped their students achieve significant growth in reading. Congrats to Jacqueline. You're in the running to win $5,000 for your classroom. Nominate your favorite teacher today at iHeartRadio.com/teachers. All right, we asked the text line for some help because I'm trying to buy a recliner in time for football season here. 760 says, now walk with me. If you have the space to do the obvious thing, buy a new 2-seater recliner to share with the wifey. Yeah, but the wifey loves the couch that we currently have, and I can't stand that freaking couch. It's not comfortable. She likes that it has storage built into it.
Storage?
Yeah, the
Who likes a couch based on how much storage it has?
You're not married to Kendall Fletcher. She loves the storage, dude. Anywhere you can hide stuff, that's what she wants. And the L part of the couch lifts up so that you can put like blankets and stuff under there. I hate.
You hide coffee cups in there?
Yeah, no. What? Gross. Sammy, stop. 615, trust me, dude, I bought 2 couches on OfferUp and both were complete garbage, and then it ended up being my problem to have to resell them. Just find a furniture place offering a sale and buy new. All right, follow-up question, 615. What furniture places are on sale right now? Do some research for me.
Tyler says, hey, Sammy, a friendly burrito bet tomorrow. My Cards versus your Chiefs. Tyler, you're my guy. I am not going to bet on a preseason game, but when we get to the regular season, yes, we will make some.
Unless it's on long shots.
That's different. That's a parlay.
All right, who's playing for the Chiefs tomorrow? Anyone big?
The whole team, so they're starting, but they say they're going to go the first quarter, but they never do.
Mahomes, Kelsey, first drive.
Yeah, I'll probably go first drive, pull them out.
Rasheed?
Yeah. Hey, my man's free right now.
For now. There's a suspension incoming, I have a feeling. Before we get to the Padres, did you see last night in the Raiders-Seahawks game, Geno Smith flipping off the dude in the crowd?
No, I didn't see that.
So there was a guy who, when the Raiders were running out, there was a guy holding a sign that said, who was a bigger bust, Jamarcus Russell or Geno Smith? And Geno Smith and Max Crosby both give the 2-finger salute to the dude.
First off, to that guy, like, you cannot compare Geno Smith to Jamarcus Russell.
Yeah, Geno Smith had a part 2 to his career.
Geno Smith made millions. Like, Geno Smith was in the MVP conversation a couple of years ago at one point, like halfway through the season. Jamarcus Russell is the biggest bust of all time.
Honestly, it's day 1 into the NFL preseason, not counting the Hall of Fame game. Day 1 into the NFL preseason, and we might already have the coolest picture of the 2025-26 season. It's Geno Smith and Max Crosby both going double-fingered salute to this loser wearing a Geno Smith Seahawks jersey, by the way. It's funny stuff, man. But Geno with the Raiders, maybe we get a little revenge story coming. I actually think the Raiders are going to be pretty good this year. We will see. Padres start a 3-game series with the Boston Red Sox tonight at Petco Park. Big series for the Padres, who sit currently 2 games back of the Los Angeles Dodgers. Dodgers starting a series today. Is it in Toronto or is it in LA?
It's in LA, I believe.
In LA against the Blue Jays. Both these teams on a collision course for each
LA,
other,
yeah.
by the way, coming up in next week when the Padres and Dodgers will face off with each other. This is a big time for both these teams. Dodgers, seems like they haven't been right since they took that 10-game division lead over the Padres and the Giants and the Diamondbacks. And then the trade deadline hit, and the Dodgers were weirdly a little quiet at the trade deadline. They actually sold off Dustin May. They made a couple of moves to bolster the bullpen with Tanner Scott going down with injury, but they didn't do as much as a lot of people thought they would. Padres on the other side, AJ Preller went full madman and made every move you could possibly make and went absolutely nutso. And for the most part, they seem to have paid off so far. Nestor Cortez had a really nice start. Laureano's been on fire since he's gotten here. O'Hearn just hit his first homer. Freddie Fermin is already a fan favorite in San Diego. So you look at all this, Padres loading up for war to get to the postseason and potentially overtake the Dodgers. Dodgers, who have not looked right this year, even after spending all that money in the offseason. This weekend's going to tell us a lot about the next 2 months of Major League Baseball. If the Padres can somehow close the gap before these two teams play, you're telling me that series won't be the highest rated television series in all of baseball this year? It will be to this point.
And it's crucial for the Padres to close the gap because everyone has to remember through 7 games, the Padres are 2-5. So in terms of tiebreakers, if they happen to sweep the Dodgers over 6 games, and they're clearly going to be way up in the division, but that's probably not going to happen. This is extremely 2 very talented teams who are probably going to go back and forth. So you have real opportunities playing 2 really tough competition in Boston, and then the Dodgers playing Toronto this weekend. Looking at the pitching matchups for the Padres, like, you have a big advantage tonight. Walker Buehler is a solid pitcher, but Nick Pivetta definitely has the edge there. Lucas Giolito tomorrow is probably the Red Sox best bet, because you're going to miss Garrett Crochet, who is the Red Sox ace. So that's a big deal for the Padres. Going against Michael King, probably give Giolito the edge, just simply because Michael King hasn't pitched in forever, and he's been a very good pitcher after getting traded from the White Sox last year. And then Brian Bello against Dylan Cease. So some pretty good pitching matchups over the weekend. Again, kind of talking about it earlier, really excited to see who performs the best. Is it Merrill? Is it Tatis? Is it Duran? Is it Roman Anthony? Like, there is a lot of talent in both rosters now. The Red Sox may not have the names that the Padres have at the top, but the Red Sox, in terms of all of baseball, are probably one of the deepest 1 through 9 hitters. Just there's not really a bad weak link in it. So I'm really looking forward to, like, Fermin, O'Hearn, a lot of these guys at the back end of the lineup, as they have been, producing to really match the star quality of Fernando and Machado and them. But those two got to get going. The weird thing about the last week is they've been winning games, but Machado and Tatis have not played very well. Now, Tatis is on base.
It's been Laureano for a lot of it.
Yeah.
He's been on fire since he's gotten here.
Tatis is, like, on base percentage has been fantastic since, like, the last month, because he's been walked a lot. I know there's that thing, he's not getting paid to walk. There's the Moneyball thing where you're just getting on base. I'm not going to kill Fernando as much, but Fernando and Manny, this feels like a really big weekend with the Dodgers, only 2 games back. It would even be a bummer, though, to go into the Dodger series 3 games back, because even if you were to sweep the Dodgers or go 2-3, then you're still losing, and knowing you're not going to have a tiebreaker is probably, or likely not going to have a tiebreaker, going to be tough. So very crucial weekend for the Padres.
Yeah, I got laser vision on Fernando this weekend. He got the day off 2 days ago. Obviously, the whole team had the day off yesterday. I'm looking at Fernando to see if he comes back with some sort of energy that has been missing for the last month or so. Fernando needs to get back to form, especially thinking that a week from today is your next series with the Dodgers. Speaking of which, Steve Hartman is coming up next. Every Friday, we talk to Steve at 1:30. Every Friday, things get wackier and wackier. So we got Steve coming up next.
Remember when he told you he thinks about you during midnight?
That was weird. Last week was also weird. He was just talking smack about the Chiefs and the 49ers for the entire 10 minutes. We'll see where Steve wants to go today.
He was very aggravated last week.
Aggravated. I want to see happy Steve. Maybe that's coming up next. San Diego Sports 760 live on the iHeartRadio app. Hey, it's Fletch for Gary Cooper over at Mountain Trust Mortgage and Realty. Call Gary today, 858-376-1299, or visit him online at mountaintrustmortgage.com, which is exactly what our buddy Marcos and PB did. He's a part of the show, texts the show all the time, and Marcos reached out to Gary Cooper with some big questions. Gary had the answers.
He sure did. He goes, how come you never talk about investment properties? So I said, just for you, I will. So yes, I have a full menu of those programs. You can go the traditional way with Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, put 25% down. That's where you're going to get your best pricing, but it is a full documented loan program. However, I also have a DSCR, which means debt servicing credit program. First-time investors, okay, no income, no employment verification, no tax returns, minimum credit score is 640. It is a little bit higher in rate, but if you can show that you are collecting enough rents to cover the debt of that property, the mortgage, the homeowner's insurance, and taxes, then yes, you can go under that program. I also have a P&L, or a verification of employment program. I have a bank statement program. So yes, I do have a wide spectrum of loan programs for your specific needs.
Call Gary Cooper today, 858-376-1299. Whether you got questions about the home buying process, mortgage lending, or selling a home, Gary Cooper is the man for you. 858-376-1299, or visit him online at mountaintrustmortgage.com.
This update is sponsored by Anderson Plumbing, Heating, and Air. Has been confirmed. Chargers star left tackle Rashawn Slater has been ruled out for the year with a knee injury suffered in practice yesterday. Joe Alt, the second-year right tackle from Notre Dame, will be moving over to left per Jim Harbaugh. And the Padres are back tonight. 2 games back of the Dodgers in the NL West. They'll be playing the Boston Red Sox tonight. That game will be going at 6:40 p.m. Nick Pivetta will be on the mound for the Padres, while Walker Buehler will be going for the Red Sox. Need HVAC. This month, get 0% for 18 months on a new system. Schedule your free proposal at AndersonPHA.com. Anderson, fast and reliable.
San Diego Sports 760 on a Friday. Ben Fletcher, Sammy along with you till 2. John and Jim will take over then. Make sure you're listening tomorrow night. SDFC back on the pitch. They got Sporting Kansas City out in Kansas City. You can hear the match live tomorrow night starting at 7 right here on San Diego Sports 760. Your home for SDFC. We got Steve Hartman here for his Friday appointment. Steve, how are we feeling this week?
Well, feeling a lot better than Charger fans. The Rashawn Slater season-ending injury proving once again that the Dean Spanos curse is alive and well.
Steve, the man's body isn't even cold yet. You're already going in on it?
It's 100%, and the fact is that every time that you feel like maybe the Chargers can get out from the dark cloud that hovers over them with the ownership of the Spanos family led by Dean, there is a constant reminder that they will never, ever see the promised land until they are rid of the Spanos name forever.
I love it. I really do. Steve, you're obviously spent decades down here in San Diego. You're up in LA now. Might give you great insight into answering this next question. Who wins the National League West in 2025?
Well, guys, right now I'm going to lean toward the Padres, and I'll tell you, it's a little bit sad right now for one Shohei Ohtani. His game the other day was a prime example. 8 strikeouts in 4 innings, a dominant performance. It's a home run. And then, of course, because he's a 4-inning starter, they got to go to their bullpen. And I, to be fair to the Dodgers, I don't know if I've ever seen quite this level of devastation to a pitching staff. I mean, 12 pitchers on the injured list. They've been trying to get guys back. Last night's looked okay. Snell looked decent. Again, Ohtani's okay, but he's pitching 2, 3, 4 innings, and it's just not going to be enough. Preller, the only thing holding me back on the Padres is A.J. Preller's record. And Fletch, you and I used to do a little ledger of the hits and misses during the Preller era, and the misses outweighed the hits about 5-1. And of course, he has done so many things that have, when the late great Peter Seidler gave him the green light to spend money, they spent the money wisely, most notably on Manny Machado. But so many of their moves have backfired on him. So that's the only thing holding me back. But right now, I would say that both these teams are extremely even right now. And this is a big weekend for the Padres because obviously the Dodgers are playing the team with the best record in the American League this weekend. Going to be a tough series against the Blue Jays.
Do you think the Dodgers and Padres are the 2 best teams in the NL, or do you think there's other teams that are better than them?
Oh, I think they're all in the mix. I think when you talk about the Phillies or the Mets or the Cubs, certainly the Brewers, I mean, these teams are all in the mix. I mean, the Dodgers were 0-6 against the Brewers this year. So to say that the Dodgers are better than the Brewers based on what? Nothing. So I think that when you look at the top teams in each of the divisions, I think they're very equal. It's the same thing in the American League, guys. There just is no clear-cut favorite. You can probably have more teams, honestly, in the mix to win the World Series this year than I can remember. You could almost go a dozen teams that you could make a legitimate argument could end up winning the World Series this year. So, no, I would say Dodgers, Padres, Cubs, Mets, Brewers, Phillies, they're all in the same mix.
Steve, we are 26 days away from the beginning of the NFL season. Last night there was football on TV, at least something resembling football in a little bit. But I'm curious your thoughts. 26 days out, Jerry Jones, Micah Parsons, nothing seems like it's getting done there. He wants out, or at least he says he does. Really, I think he just wants more money. But Jerry Jones is handling this interestingly, to say the least. How do you think he's doing as owner/general manager of the Cowboys right now?
Well, as owner, I mean, it's not only has it been 30 years, exactly 30 years since they won their last Super Bowl, it's 30 years since they've even made it to the conference championship game. To put that in perspective, the Commanders were in the conference championship game just last year. So it's been an insane drought. However, I can understand his hesitance. Remember, a year ago, he made Dak Prescott the highest paid quarterback, at least at that time, in the NFL, and the roof caved in, and he ended up on the sideline. Really what we're talking about is this guaranteed money. It seems strange because MLB contracts are guaranteed, NBA contracts are guaranteed, but they're not guaranteed in the NFL, and the reason being is the players are so susceptible to injury. Look at the deal they just gave Rashawn Slater with the Chargers. Made it the highest paid player, more guaranteed money than any offensive lineman ever, and he's out for the season. Never plays a single game this year. So that's part of it. The other part of it is that, honestly, Micah Parsons has no bargaining chips because he's under contract to the Cowboys, and they can franchise tag him 2 years after that. So he has no options. There's no like, well, we have to trade him. No, you don't. They have total control of his services. And if he honor his contract, which is he under contract, and he doesn't play, well, guess what? He's forfeiting a paycheck. So the bottom line is that Jerry Jones is holding all the cards right now. And again, coming off a horrific season as they had a year ago, yeah, I can understand why he might be hesitant. I'm sure people around him are saying, enough's enough. We got to get this guy going. Although, Micah Parsons says he's injured. He's come up with all kinds of excuses to not be out on the field right now for practice. But that's exactly where the situation stands between Jerry Jones and Micah Parsons.
Steve, John Harbaugh kind of made waves saying that Lamar Jackson is one of the most special quarterbacks he's ever seen. They're having this debate on First Take today. Who do you think is the hardest quarterback for opposing teams to prepare for in the entire league?
Well, I would still say it's Patrick Mahomes because, again, look at his record. It's a little hard for me to say that it's difficult to prepare for Lamar Jackson when he has a postseason record of 3-5. I mean, obviously in the postseason, teams have had no problem figuring out how to prepare for Lamar Jackson. So, I mean, it's not a knock on his talent. His numbers speak for themselves. But no, I would say right now, Mahomes is still number one. I think the best quarterback in terms of just skills as a quarterback is Joe Burrow. And then as far as a guy like Josh Allen, I would put Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson in a very similar territory. So, look, again, Mahomes is at the top until somebody knocks him off. But I think the best quarterback in terms of just throwing the football and playing the position is Joe Burrow. And then you would have, Lamar Jackson and Josh Allen. I really don't think any other quarterbacks are in the mix.
Steve, this offseason in the NFL has been dominated by people hypothesizing that the Chiefs are going to take a step back this year, which it feels like we have that conversation every year. It's been talked about Josh Allen, and is this the MVP season that we're all thinking it's going to be? Joe Burrow, like you said. One story that is being completely ignored is Mike Vrabel taking over with the New England Patriots. I really like it. I don't know if you've seen the reports out of training camp. They really like Drake May. Mike Vrabel is breaking up fights and getting bloody cheeks. And I got to imagine Mike Vrabel probably loves every second of that because he loves the intensity. Do you think that was a home run hire? And how do you think the Patriots are going to be this year?
Well, they probably should have hired him a year ago and didn't. But the problem for Mike Vrabel right now, like it would be for any coach, I mean, we're talking about a team right now that is in the bottom three in terms of just talent. I mean, Drake May is a promising quarterback, but what does he have? They either have guys that are past their prime that they got for a bargain rate or a bunch of young guys that are yet to prove themselves at this level. The Patriots are a miserable franchise. When I look at that AFC East right now, I see the Bills possibly winning that division by 7 games. I think the Dolphins are going to take another step backwards this year. Something doesn't smell right about them. The Jets are the Jets. They're just awful. And then New England's worse than any of them. So the idea that Vrabel can, turn this thing around quickly is fantasy land. But that being said, I think Vrabel's a quality coach. He understands exactly how they put it together. But let's make no mistake about this. Bill Belichick was fired because he had literally destroyed that team. And they were victims again during their second Super Bowl run of kicking the can down the road. Very similar to what your 49ers did way back in the day, where, you kick the can down the road so many times, eventually you got to pay up.
No one talked 49ers, Steve. They were not even part of this conversation. Sammy, what do you got?
Steve, what second-year quarterback, speaking of Drake May, do you think is going to take the biggest step back from last year?
Double-digit wins. Yeah. So anyway, the bottom line is that, at some point you got to pay, and that's what's happened in New England. So we'll see what Vrabel does, but it ain't going to happen this year.
What second-year quarterback do you think is going to take the biggest leap or step back this year?
That's a great question, Sammy. Obviously what we saw a year ago from Jane Daniels and Bo Nix, incredible. I mean, 2 rookie quarterbacks taking their teams to the playoffs. I guess the guy that I'm most intrigued by is Michael Penix. I think that, the whole situation in Atlanta was so bizarre after they jumped up in the draft to take Penix after they had made the Kirk Cousins deal. And I'm just a big believer in Penix. He got my Heisman vote over Daniels a couple years ago just because I thought that he had bigger games beating Oregon twice. And so he thought he got my Heisman #1 vote. As far as Caleb Williams, Bears is still a bad team, guys. I'm not saying he doesn't have talent. Obviously, he has talent, but you have to have the pieces around you. But when you look at Penix, Atlanta, in that division, it's winnable. 10-7 wins that NFC South. I think that, the next guy out of that class that could break through and make the postseason would be Penix in Atlanta.
Steve, we got to get out of here pretty soon, but you got any big weekend plans?
Well, right now, guys, as we're speaking, I'm on my way to Dodger Stadium. Got TV work here tonight. How about this matchup? You got Clayton Kershaw versus Max Scherzer. I mean, 2 first-ballot Hall of Famers, 2 members of the 3,000 Strikeout Club, 2 guys that have both won 3 Cy Young Awards, and it's obviously opened up. And get this, it's Kobe Bryant bobblehead night at Dodger Stadium. I think it has something to do with today is August 8th, the number 8, and Kobe Bryant. But, curious that they have a Kobe Bryant bobblehead night at Dodger Stadium tonight. But anytime you get a chance to see 2 future Hall of Famers head-to-head at this late stage of their career, I think that's pretty special.
And the first time these two faced off with each other was something like 2007? I think 2008 was the first time.
Like that. Yeah. These are 2 obviously all-time legends, along with Verlander. These have been the 3 most dominant pitchers of this era. All 3 won 3 Cy Young Awards. All 3 of these guys will be first-ballot Hall of Famers. So the chance of getting one more shot to see Kershaw versus Scherzer, that's pretty good.
Steve, you're the best. Thank you, man. We'll talk to you next week.
And remember that Spano's curse will live on. They got to get rid of him.
There it is. That's what we wanted. That's what we wanted this whole time. All right, we're going to close the show out. Coming up next, it's San Diego Sports 760 live on the iHeartRadio app. Well, in true Steve Hartman fashion, he completely butchered the clock for us. So we only got a couple minutes left here at San Diego Sports 760. John and Jim are coming up next. I want to squeeze a few of these texts in before we get out of here. 484 Hartman firing shots at Fletch. He is a man after my heart. Yeah, Steve brought up the Niners out of nowhere.
I was surprised he didn't come after me and start talking about Mahomes.
I know. Mahomes is like a 97 overall quarterback on Madden. What a scrub. 619 Sammy needs to learn to never cut off Hartman when he's rolling. It's a battle that cannot be won from Marcos MP.
You know, so there's a story behind that is I try to take my headphones off during interviews and listen through the board because I don't want to go deaf. And so I turned my headphones off and I didn't know he was still talking. So I just started asking a question and didn't know that he was still talking. And Fletch looked at me and I was like, and then I turned it back on. I was like, oh, Hartman's still going.
See, but here's the thing. Steve can hear you, but Steve will not stop talking.
No.
Steve will just keep going. And that's kind of why we love him.
That's why we love him.
And how about Steve at the end of the interview just screaming about some Spanos curse just at the top of his lungs?
I love how instead of just going at Dean Spanos, he makes it about Rashawn Slater.
The dude's body's not even cold yet. He's literally in tears getting carted off the field yesterday. And Steve's like, see, it's Spanos. The poor man's knee just snapped in half.
Yeah, like, come on. Steve, be nice.
There's some sacred area. I can't believe Steve would do that. How many coffee mugs over under get thrown this weekend, Sammy?
That's a crazy thing to end.
Well, we're finishing up the show. It's a Friday.
What's the number at?
I'm going to say 2.5.
2.5?
It's just starting to catch up steam, man. It's starting to build.
But they're going to be checking. I'm going to go 2.5 feels aggressive. If it's like 1, I'd go more than.
I think 1.5 should probably be the number. Will there be one thrown this weekend or is there going to be 2 thrown this weekend? That's what you have to choose.
Are you going over or under?
I'm going over. I'm smashing
over 2.5 or
under? Over 1.5.
Okay, I'm going to go under.
2 is the number that'll be thrown this weekend.
I need security to do their jobs at these games this weekend.
It's craziness. Absolute pure chaos. Poor coffee mugs, man. This is not what they were intended for. All right, that's it for us today. John and Jim are coming up next. It's San Diego Sports 760. We might see you on Monday. We might be fired. Who knows?